Yeah, so with Torr Metals, what we're doing, we're really looking for new pre-discovery opportunities in prolific jurisdictions that have highway access and all the infrastructure that we really need. So some forward-looking statements. So of course with this, make sure do your due diligence. There'll be some comparisons made, disclosures made that are not necessarily indicative of the mineralization or the assays on the Kolos project. But where are we positioned? What are we focusing on? So really, we're looking for that potential transformational copper and gold discovery. We make sure that we're in prime locations. So something that you'll see with all our projects, those projects have highways going through them. We operate out of nearby towns and cities. We don't need exploration camps. Whatever else infrastructure you want, rail, power, mining, and provincial infrastructure, we've got it. We've spent the last 3 years really defining 5 brand new undrilled copper, gold, porphyry, as well as gold targets in southern British Columbia and northern Ontario. As Eric mentioned, our flagship Kolos Copper Gold project is in southern BC, and as I'll outline, it's within Canada's #1 copper mining district. All these projects are 100% owned as they were developed in-house, conceptually and staked by myself. With that, there's no underlying NSRs or anything like that outside of a strategic 57 square kilometer option on the Kolos Copper Gold project. But the focus is Kolos, and we're looking for that strategic copper gold exploration upside coupled together with optionality of orogenic gold on our Filion Gold project in northern Ontario. Specifically to the Kolos project as well, you'll notice we are strategically positioned. So we're in an area where the majors are concentrated as well. You'll have noticed a lot of major mining names in there. You'll see it in another map down the road. A little bit of bios about ourselves. You'll see myself there, 15 years experience exploration, working on early stage up to maiden resource really is the niche that I like to do. With that, we've got the backing of John Williamson, Metals Group of companies over the years. More recently, we've raised over $1 billion in advancing projects and companies worldwide. And then we also have the major mining experience. So Gordon Maxwell was someone who I invited on the board. Gordon has 40 years working for major mining companies, a wealth of porphyry experience. Most recently was business development manager and exploration manager for Glencore. So making sure that we develop these projects in a way that major mining companies will recognize and appreciate. In terms of capital structure, so we have 3.9 million in working capital, 83 million shares outstanding. 12% of that is basically controlled by myself and John Williamson, the chairman. We're sitting a little less than this, so probably around a 12 million market cap. We had some selling today down to 14 cents due to a 13-cent financing that's coming free trading at the beginning of next week. So excellent entry opportunity, I'd say, at this stage. With that early stage, so what are we doing in terms of risk mitigation? So we pair that together with structural advantages. So we have immediate infrastructure access. So we're not talking about conceptual roads or anything like that. We already have highways, road access going to all our targets on our projects. A strategic location, we're in producing camps with operating mines around our projects that have a near-term need for feed. This includes, if we look at Kolos, the new Afton mine, just 30 kilometers to our north, has about 5 more years to depletion. Structural cost advantage, we don't have an exploration camp. Because of that, we're able to put more money into the ground, and we can operate at about a third the cost of what our peers can in northern British Columbia. And Tier 1 mining jurisdiction, so as you'll see, where's the Kolos project located on the map on your right? You'll see it's between the city of Kamloops and the town of Merritt in southern British Columbia. This offers us year-round operation ability. You'll see this is Canada's copper producing belt. Where are the majors focusing in British Columbia? It's here in the southern Quesnel Trough. Most recently, Fortescue and Bouladin moved in the last 2 years, did a large amount of staking and acquisitions as they see this as the next opportunity for a major new porphyry discovery in British Columbia. And of course, you've got New Gold and the acquisition by Core Mining there. coming online with a $7 billion US offer. With that strategic locations, drawn upside, we've done the due diligence, the groundwork. We're now at the point that we're starting to drill. So we've defined on the Kolos project 4 main porphyry targets arranged off of Highway 5. I think I like the question, Antonio, with Resource Talks. I'd mentioned to him that you could drive to any of these targets with a sedan. He asked me, is it European or North American? I thought that was a great question. So you would need a North American to get to our Bertha target in the Northwest, but the rest you could do European. So Bertha is where we started. Why did we start there? It was because we saw strong geological comparisons to a New Afton-style exploration model. That being said, supergene-style mineralization, alteration, native copper, and this is what we went to drill first. So the first phase of drilling, we wrapped that up by the beginning of December in 2025, so quite recently. We did 2,700 meters of drilling. We're fully funded for phase 2 up to 6,000 meters of drilling. And really what we got out of this was that the model is supported. We did verify that there's a concentration of copper mineralization dominated by native copper along a pickrite contact, pickrite being a very unique feature to the concentration of mineralization at New Afton. We confirmed that there was a large hydrothermal copper system, oxidation going down to almost 600 meters depth, together with copper, native copper mineralization in discrete zones that assayed up to 0.44% copper over about a meter. With that, we saw very strong vectors showcasing that we're in the periphery of a large porphyry system. We need to move towards the northeast is the next spot. So you'll see that big red circle on the left-hand side. That showcases the next location. Up in this area, we've also confirmed at surface there's increased plumbing, the type of intrusive bodies that we would expect to see with a potential porphyry source. That includes sheeted veining. We're seeing intrusive units with strong pyrite halos. And this all speaks to this could be the potential plumbing of what was feeding that native copper and those strong alteration zones. So this is a big system. We're on the tail of it. We're moving more into towards the center. Along with that is our Bertha North target, which is about 1 kilometer to the northwest. So Bertha North is another porphyry signature within the Bertha area. This overlapping geophysics, all indicative of the upper portions of another porphyry system. These are some planned drill holes that we have, as this too will be part of our phase 2 drill targeting. With this, we see some strong upside to continue pursuing the style of mineralization and these porphyry systems within the Bertha area. Of course, we've got plenty of other targets throughout. Very little drilling has ever been done on the property, no drilling on any of the targets we've delineated. But all these targets have overlapping large-scale, multi-kilometer geophysical anomalies with geochemical anomalies. In terms of sonic, gets up to about 4,500 ppm copper in soil. So some good high grades, early stage, good for follow-up. We'll keep it in our back pocket as it adds increased incentive value to the project, with the ultimate goal here moving towards a transaction with a major mining company. So feel free, I sped through those slides. They just showcase some of the more technical data. If you have an interest in that, you can track me down at the booth and I can certainly jump into more detail on those. But the other project I want to talk about was the Fillion Gold project. This was something that we also staked at the same time as the Kolos project. It's not our main focus, with Kolos being the focus. But you can see it's located in Ontario in a region of multi-million ounce gold deposits. Big blank spot in the middle. What's there? We've went and we staked the Fillion Gold project. That was based on historical reports of trenching that was done that has lain almost, dormant for about 80 years, right off the Trans-Canada Highway. And most recently, we just put out a release. We were finally able to find those trenches using a LiDAR survey. They were located just about 2.3 kilometers north of the highway and they're road accessible. 900 meter strike length to the trenching. And we did the first ever sampling, sampled along 140 meters, came up with grades of 1 to 13.1 grams per ton gold in rock grab samples that we took. So we've been able to confirm the high grade gold nature of this Philly gold-bearing structural corridor, which we've now staked for an entire strike length of about 60 kilometers. You can see it's right along the Trans-Canada Highway there. We have done, previous to this, soils. So we confirmed in that area of trenching, there were soils that returned over 1 gram per ton in soil. We have one other area, the Miller Zone, which also has over 1 gram per ton soil. We haven't found any outcrop in that area, but if the high grade within our trenching is indicative of surface mineralization, we can make the assumption that likely there is subcropping or in this area that is creating this soil anomaly. So why Torr? Why now? So we are strategically positioned where majors operate. We're pre-discovery stage upside. We have that full infrastructure advantage that is also de-risking much of the exploration that we're doing and allowing us to put more money into the ground for exploration. Upcoming news, so we're looking here, aiming for March to start the additional IP surveys to extend Bertha to the northeast. We'll see what we find based on what we'll find. We'll follow that up with drilling. So we can mobilize to drill really at any time of the year in this area. We've got an additional permit pending on the Sonic Zone over to the east, where we have an 8 square kilometer copper soil anomaly that's never been drilled. And ultimately, we're fully funded for that additional 6,000 meters of drilling. So that will be the next stages. Of course, we've got that optionality with the Philly Gold Project. Good to have some new high-grade gold right off the Trans-Canada Highway in Northern Ontario. So we're exploring various ways as well that could be advanced. Of course, with Torr focusing entirely on the Colos project. So yeah, I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please track me down and I'll be happy to answer them.